Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into a really fascinating story drawn from a K. It's about Marina,
Hmm.
a woman whose life seems, pretty settled on the surface, career, partner.
Right, the whole package.
But underneath, there's this feeling growing, something missing, and that feeling kind of kicks everything off when an old friend reappears.
Yeah, and suddenly things get complicated. Dark
Yeah.
secrets start coming out.
Exactly. So, our mission today is to really unpack those key moments in Marina's story. We'll look at the temptations she faces, how things get progressively more dangerous.
And how this initial desire for something more just spirals, leading her to a huge turning point.
Right. We want to show you how wanting something different can lead down some really unexpected, kind of perilous paths.
And how easily those illusions of a normal life can just shatter when hidden stuff comes to light.
Okay, so let's start there. Marina's initial state, this feeling that life's become dull.
Yeah, the text paints a picture of her life with Dennis as lacking real connection. Her job feels routine.
And Dennis himself?
He's described as distant, often not really there, even when he is physically present. It feels like the energy's gone out of the relationship.
Leaving her feeling. What?
Yeah,
Just resigned?
sort of, yeah. A quiet resignation. It's not like a big blow up, more like a slow fade, which maybe makes her more open to, well, to what happens next.
Which is Pavel, showing up out of nowhere.
Exactly. That chance meeting in a cafe years after they last saw each other, it's the start.
The text really plays up his impact, doesn't it? Confident, charming.
A bit eccentric, too. He's immediately presented as the opposite of her current reality.
Yeah, that contrast seems crucial. He's excitement, possibility.
Things clearly missing from her day-to-day. His charm probably cuts right through that fog she's in. And the eccentricity suggests, well, a life less ordinary.
A life she might be craving.
Could be. Or maybe it reminds her of a part of herself she's lost touch with. The fact that it hits her so quickly suggests she was really ready for something different.
And it doesn't stay just coffee, does it? It escalates.
No, it moves pretty fast to dinners, walks. These interactions start filling that void Dennis left.
And the feelings shift. The text is clear. It's moving beyond just friendship.
Right. Old feelings resurfacing, maybe,
Yeah.
but possibly stronger now because of how unhappy she is with Dennis.
So the dissatisfaction creates the perfect environment for these feelings for Pavel to really bloom.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, were they always there, kind of dormant? Or is it just a stark contrast with her current life that makes them feel so powerful now?
Good question. It shows how our present feelings can totally reshape how we see the past, right?
Definitely. So she's got this taste of something exciting, something she's been missing. The stage is set for, well, temptation.
And she steps right onto that stage. That connection with Pavel becomes intimate.
Yeah, it crosses that line. But what's interesting is her awareness. She knows it feels wrong.
But she can't stop herself.
That's what the text suggests. That internal conflict is really key here. She's making choices, but feels kind of swept along too.
While Pavel, he's behaving a bit strangely, isn't he? Even as they get closer.
Very strangely. He's described as cautious, keeps his distance emotionally, doesn't share much about himself.
And the disappearances, he just vanishes sometimes.
Right. Creates this imbalance in the relationship. She's getting deeply involved emotionally, physically.
While he holds back. Why do that, you think? Especially as things are getting serious.
Well, it certainly feeds her suspicion. Instead of cooling her off, it just makes her more curious, more worried.
So she starts trying to figure him out when he's gone, trying to understand his past.
Exactly. It's like the mystery itself is part of the pull, but it's also making her really uneasy.
That's a good point, his elusiveness. Maybe it's deliberate, maybe it's just who he is, or maybe it's because his life isn't something he can easily share.
Whatever the reason, it creates this uncertainty that, weirdly, seems to pull her in even more. And then she takes that step, checking his phone.
That's a big move. From just being involved to actively investigating.
It is. And what she finds isn't exactly reassuring.
Unfamiliar numbers, and that conversation.
Yeah, the strange conversation with a businessman. Hints of big money, hidden negotiations.
Illegal business practices. That sounds serious.
It does, though it's vague, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's serious enough to worry her, but not specific enough yet for her to know just how bad it is.
And her reaction is complicated.
Very. It's not just fear. The text says, rising unease mixed with a sense of thrill or excitement regarding the threat.
Thrill. That's unexpected.
Maybe it's the sheer contrast with her boring life. Like, even the danger feels more alive in the predictability she's trying to escape.
Wow. That's a dark kind of allure, isn't it? The danger itself being exciting.
It seems so. And this discovery, this mix of fear and thrill,
Yeah.
leads her to confront him directly.
Right. She asks him about it, but he manages to brush it off.
He gives seemingly easy explanations, tries to smooth things over, but it's clear he's still hiding something. His reassurances don't really work.
Because his evasiveness just makes it worse.
Exactly. He's trying to manage the situation, keep her from digging more, but it just fuels her suspicion. It destroys any remaining trust.
Which leads her to look again.
Yes. Searching his things more thoroughly this time, she clearly doesn't believe a word he said.
And this time she finds, what, actual proof?
Undeniable proof. Photos and documents related to major financial schemes.
Whoa.
This isn't just vague hints anymore.
Major schemes. So we're talking serious criminal stuff.
It seems so. Far beyond just a shady business deal. And this discovery basically forces his hand.
He can't lie his way out of this one.
Confronted with the evidence, he finally confesses, admits his connections to criminal networks.
Doing what?
Money laundering, manipulating government contracts.
Yeah.
The works. His whole life in New York, the charm, the mystery, it's all a cover.
Just a carefully controlled cover. That's devastating for Marina. It reframes everything.
Total betrayal. Not just the affair, but his entire identity was a lie.
And even then, he asks her to stay.
Yeah, a desperate plea. But she must be terrified. She realizes this isn't just an affair gone wrong.
She's tangled up in something really, really dangerous.
The stakes just went way, way up. She knows the truth now, and that truth is incredibly perilous.
Which puts her in an impossible position, this dilemma.
Right. What does she do? Continue this incredibly risky relationship, potentially wrecking her career, maybe even risking her life, or try to backtrack, go back to her old life.
Which might not even be there waiting for her. It's a terrible choice. What makes it so hard? Is it just fear, or is there still something holding her to Pavel?
It's got to be a mix. The fear's huge, obviously, but she's invested emotionally, even if it was based on lies. And then Pavel himself changes.
How so?
He becomes threatening. Suddenly, it's not about charm anymore. It's about protecting himself. He prioritizes his own situation, his fear of exposure, over her safety.
Wow. That must be a brutal wake-up call, seeing that side of him.
Absolutely. It shows his true colors and underlines the real danger she's in. She's not dealing with a lover anymore. She's dealing with a criminal who feels cornered.
And meanwhile, her other life is crumbling too.
Yeah, Denis is suspicious. And the text mentions another woman potentially entering his life. So the affair might have already destroyed her marriage, whether she stays with Pavel or not.
So Pavel's secret basically detonates her entire world.
Pretty much. It triggers this cascade of crises. She's trapped, threats from Pavel, her marriage collapsing. That initial excitement is long gone.
Replaced by just feeling trapped.
Utterly trapped. The escape she thought she found turned into a cage, and a dangerous one at that. The weight of it all must be crushing.
And the marriage is really suffering now. Denis must notice something.
Oh, definitely. Her behavior, her withdrawal, it's all putting immense strain on what was already fragile. And the thought of losing her established life, job, marriage, stability just adds to the pressure.
The balancing act is over. Everything's collapsing.
Total collapse. And it's right at this lowest point that the phone rings. It's Pavel.
And he sounds
Frantic. Desperate. Says things have escalated, they're in too deep, he's being hunted.
hunted. By who?
He doesn't say, just that he needs to meet her right now, urgently.
What must she be thinking? After all the lies, can she even believe him?
Deep down, she must be incredibly suspicious. But maybe the sheer panic in his voice sounds real. Plus, she's so involved now, she probably feels she has to know what's going on.
Even though it screams trap.
Even though every instinct should be screaming trap, she agrees. One last meeting.
Which is just, wow. It shows how deep she's in, doesn't it?
It really does. Fear, maybe some lingering connection, maybe just needing answers. Whatever it is, she feels compelled to go, even knowing how dangerous he is.
And the meeting place itself. An abandoned warehouse.
Yeah, couldn't be more symbolic of the darkness she stepped into, right? And when she gets there, Pavel isn't the confident guy anymore.
He's scared.
Nervous, fearful, totally different. Which immediately tells her this is serious. He just wants them to get out of there now.
But it's too late.
Way too late. Before they can move, they hear footsteps. Heavy footsteps.
The ambush.
Yep. A group of men appear, block the exit. It's clearly planned.
And the reason they're there.
That's the chilling part. They're using Marina as leverage against Pavel.
So she wasn't just caught in the crossfire. She's the target. A pawn.
Exactly. A pawn in his dangerous game. She realizes she's not just adjacent to the danger, she's the danger zone for them.
And one of them confronts them.
Yeah, identifies himself as part of Pavel's organization, accuses Pavel of betrayal, makes direct threats against Marina, her worst fears realized.
The situation just keeps getting worse. They want something from Pavel.
The incriminating documents,
Yeah.
the ones Marina found earlier, they demand them.
And Pavel refuses.
He does. Maybe it's a last act of defiance, maybe he thinks it's his only bargaining chip, or maybe he actually wants to protect Marina somehow at this point. Hard to say. But his refusal ramps up the tension.
Puts them both in immediate danger.
Big time. The men get more aggressive, they start closing in. It looks really bad.
Marina. What does she do? Freeze. Run. Rely on Pavel.
Surprisingly, none of the above. In that critical moment, she acts.
She does.
She steps forward, faces them down, tries to negotiate.
Negotiate with these guys. That takes guts.
Incredible guts.
Yeah.
Or maybe desperation. It's a huge risk. But maybe she sees it as the only way. A survival instinct kicks in, perhaps. Realizing Pavel's defiance isn't helping.
So she takes control.
She tries to. Seizes some agency in a situation where she's felt powerless. Her strategy is actually pretty clever.
What does she say?
She claims she knows about their operations, basically bluffs, and argues that killing Pavel means they'll never get the documents they want.
Using the information against them. Wow.
Yeah. And then she makes an offer, help them find the documents.
In exchange for what?
For her safety and Pavel's. Let them both go.
And they bought.
Hesitantly, yeah. They agree to her terms. It's a gamble, but it works for now.
A temporary fix. A narrow escape.
Exactly. A moment to breathe, but she must know the danger isn't over. Far from it.
That relief must be mixed with some serious fear about what comes next.
Absolutely. She's just made a deal with dangerous criminals. She's alive, but she's even more entangled now.
So she gets away, goes home, tries to process all this.
Yeah, back in her apartment, the adrenaline fades, and the reality must hit hard. She realizes there's no going back to her old life. This whole ordeal has changed everything.
Shattered those illusions of normalcy for good.
Completely.
Yeah.
She's been forced to confront this really dark side of life.
Yeah.
And of herself, maybe.
And just when she's reeling from that, Denis confronts her.
Right. He senses something is deeply wrong. He asks her directly about Pavel.
Putting her right on the spot. The final crossroads.
The ultimate dilemma. Lie again and probably lose Denis's trust forever. Or tell the truth and risk everything, collapsing marriage, career, the whole structure of her life.
No easy answer there.
None at all. It's the culmination of all her choices, all the secrets.
And what does she decide? In that quiet moment alone.
The text says she resolves to face the truth. Whatever the cost.
A decision to stop running, stop hiding.
Seems like it. A move towards taking responsibility, maybe. Facing the consequences head on, even though they're terrifying.
So, quite a journey we've traced. From that initial boredom and restlessness,
Through the allure of something forbidden, the excitement turning to fear,
uncovering dark secrets, facing mortal danger,
and ending up at this huge, life-altering decision about honesty and what comes next.
the big themes really stand out, don't they? How fragile normalcy can be.
Yeah, and the pull of desires that take us off the map, the danger in that.
And how these hidden worlds, when they collide with our regular lives, force these incredibly tough choices.
Yeah.
Force us to see things and ourselves differently.
Definitely. Makes you confront some uncomfortable truths.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. When those masks we wear get torn away, when the comfortable story we tell ourselves about our lives just shatters, how do you navigate that? How do you deal with the raw truth?
Think about Marina's final decision. What does choosing truth, even knowing the potential fallout, reveal about who she really is now, after everything she's been through? What does it actually mean to face the consequences? Something to ponder.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.